Tobago, during pigeon pea season, Mommy would use this to thicken the sauce or the gravy of curry pigeon peas. And we would also make a lovely vegan or vegetarian dish using the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this in Trinidad and Tobago is called Tannia. In other parts of the Caribbean, it's called cocoyam. I'm almost certain in Jamaica that is what they call it. And it's a root vegetable, a tuber, and it grows like cassava and eddos and dasheen and yam and everything else in the dirt, like a potato for North Americans. It grows in the dirt, down in the dirt like a potato. And I have it all prepped here. And what you need to do is, first of all, the skin, once you remove it, may have a sap which may want to irritate your hands once in contact. So wear gloves or put some vegetable oil in your hands, rub it around, and you know there's going to be a protective layer on your skin. And all you need is a paring knife or a potato peeler, or you can, and I'm going to peel it, but you can also scrape it with a knife if you wanted to. This is the bottom part here. I'm just going to take that off, and you're going to take just the skin. So you're going very shallow, like if you're peeling an apple, or well, some people peel carrots. I don't peel carrots. And you can see there's some imperfections there, so I'm just going to use my knife, and this is why I like using a paring knife. All you're going to do is remove that skin, just like that. And once the skin is removed, this is when your hand is going to get in really contact with that sort of sap. I went ahead and I cut it up into small pieces, and I have two size pieces here, a bigger piece which is about 1 centimeter thick, and others which is about 1/2 centimeter thick. Totally up to you how you do it. And the reason for that is I want the smaller pieces to melt to thicken the sauce or the gravy, and the bigger pieces to give it a bit of texture. And I have it in water here simply because I don't want it to discolor. Once we start cooking, I'm going to drain that water out. So that is how you would prepare the Tannia for cooking. Now this is going to be a fully vegan, fully gluten-free, fully vegetarian ITAL dish. But there's a curry version of this where Mommy would put salted fish, salted cod in there. She also put it in this version as well. But if you're interested in the curry version with the salt fish in there, drop me a comment down below, and will get to it sooner or later. I've got a sort of a deep pot on a medium flame. I'm gonna go in with some olive oil. If you want to use coconut, hello oil, you sleeping? What's going on? Anyhow, if you want to use coconut oil, vegetable oil, whatever oil you're comfortable using or like using, we need about 1.5 tablespoons, and I want you to pay attention to my pot here, my clay pot. It's been glazed. Glaze missing, and that is because it's one of those things in the Caribbean when we're cooking, after we done stirring, we do that knock. Yeah, on a Dutchy pot, fine, but on these pots, and you think I learned my lesson? Look, I repeated it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Man, I'm telling you. So we've got onion, garlic, and a Scotch bonnet pepper, a small one. This is totally optional. I just cut it in half. If you want it spicy, you can put it in. If you don't have access to Scotch bonnet pepper, any sort of spicy pepper that you enjoy using or you can access readily, go ahead and use it. I'm going to allow this to go for about 3-4 minutes until the oil is nice and fragrant, the onion is soft, the garlic is nice and soft, and then we'll continue. The kitchen is already smelling wonderful with that garlic and onion combination. What I want in here now is some fresh ground black pepper. Give that another quick stir, and let that go for another minute. At this point, I'm going to add all of the Tannia to the pot, and I'm going to hit that a stir just to coat it with the oil and all that onion and garlic and everything else. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this will not be a pretty dish. There's no way to make this look pretty. It's going to take on the sort of visuals of a porridge almost, but I assure you there'll be more texture to it than porridge. And Mommy would usually make it and serve it with roti or fry bake or fry roti. Any sort of combination like that is something you would dip and scoop and eat with your hands. Of course, you'll need salt. And the printable recipe, as with all of my recipes, will be available at CaribbeanPot.com. We'll need water to sort of braise, to cook it, to make it nice and soft. I'm gonna just put maybe a quarter cup more water in here just to make sure everything is covered. Just using my spatula business here to scrape the bottom of the pot to remove any sort of fond, because there's a lot of flavor there. We're gonna bring this up to a boil, reduce it to a rolling boil, and we're gonna cook it until the Tannia is nice and tender and it's gonna start falling apart. It's gonna thicken up that sauce with that gravy there. And near the end, I'm gonna finish it off with some tomato and some parsley just to brighten it up just a little bit. I've got to try to make it visually pleasing. Now the tomato will bring a little bit of sweetness and some acidity to balance off all. It's all about balance. If you've been following me for any time, I've been doing this since 2009. So if you've been following me, you know it's all about balance when it comes to flavors. It's been going on that rolling boil for about 25 minutes now, and you can see it's starting to fall apart. And this is why earlier I mentioned that I purposely cut some pieces thinner than others, because I want that to fall apart a bit, and that is going to start thickening up the sort of sauce that we have at the bottom there. What I like doing at this point is to add some tomato as well as some chopped parsley. Totally optional, again, something mommy wouldn't do, but I like doing it just to brighten it up a little bit. Earlier there when I was stirring it, you would have seen that it's starting to fall apart and get nice and thick. It's nice and tender. It's pretty much cooked, so I'm going to give this another 5 minutes, and then we'll taste it for salt, because we're not going to taste it for salt at this point because we just added a tomato, which would require a little bit of salt as well too. You can see it got nice and thicker there already, and the more you stir it and everything else, keep in mind that whatever pot that you use will have residual heat and will further thicken this as it cools down. This one is a clay pot which will retain a lot of heat. So I'm just going to give this another minute. At this point I'll taste it for salt, adjust the salt to my liking, and we're pretty much done. Make sure you have some nice hot sada roti, or go down to the Caribbean restaurant if you cannot make it and buy some paratha or bus up shot roti, and you're good to go. A lovely vegan or vegetarian dish. I tell Sautéing all it out too, and again it's gluten free. So yo man, I'm telling you, don't be turned away by the look of it. The look of it isn't all that airy, yeah, but I'm telling you boy, a nice little something to dippy dip and enjoy. Airy, a nice hot cup of Milo, Ovaltine, or if you have it, a little soursop leaf tea, and you're good man. Breakfast right here. Lunch, dinner, anything you want to do. It's totally up to you all, yeah?